Hey, shalom brothers, shalom sisters, Bishop Nathanyel here. That's right, you know what day it is. It's Shout Out Tuesday. It is Shout Out Tuesday, and I pray you brothers and sisters join me every Tuesday afternoon on IUIC Events channel, where I will be reading your kind and inspirational letters, also thanking you for your kind donations, and also covering very important biblical information for the mental well-being of our 12 tribes. That's right, 12 tribes worldwide. So hope to see you then every Tuesday afternoon on IUIC Events. Shalom.
Bishop,
Yes.
you know the topic already, right?
Yes, Adam and Eve, right?
Adam, not Adam, just Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve had. The key word is had.
Had,
yeah, H-A-D.
okay.
Company in the garden. So
Yes.
today, it's gonna be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Okay, thank you so very much. Bishop, Bishop, I have seen you in a music video.
Oh yeah?
You were dancing. Wow. And the title of the music is Feast Beast.
Feast Beast. Oh yes, yes.
Patient Saints 2.
I remember that. Patient
I
Saints,
saw you dancing with your baggy.
They caught me.
Oh, you were looking good.
Oh, thank you. All praise.
You were looking good. You were looking good. Okay,
Hey,
Bishop,
don't forget to download IUIC TV. We got a new app, IUIC TV. It goes from here to Africa and Latin America. As YouTube goes down, IUIC TV app is going to go up.
Good. Then there's good information. Yeah, IUIC TV. Now we have TV. That is very, very, very good. Now, Bishop, we are going to the main program. Company in the garden.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bishop.
Yes.
Is it possible for the entire human population to come out of one man and one woman?
Yes.
How? How possible?
It's very possible. Meaning, we got to remember the state of Adam and Eve were in compared to now. Remember, Adam and Eve was not like you and I. Hey, Solomon,
yes, sir.
Officer Solomon, give me the scripture in 2 Ezra 5, where it says every generation grows weaker. Show me that one. Let me show you the condition of mankind. 2 Ezra 5:52 and down.
The book of
Listen
second,
good.
the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 52. Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast not brought forth like those? Excuse me. Verse 52. Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast not brought forth?
It says
like,
now before.
Say unto
whom thou hast now brought forth, not now.
I'll start again, Bishop. I'll start again. The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 52. Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature?
So it's talking about people get smaller in size and strength in time. Read on.
Verse 53. And she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth,
Meaning in the beginning. The strength of youth meaning in the beginning. Go ahead.
are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise.
He's going to explain it. Keep going.
Verse 54. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you. Verse 55. And so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old and have passed over the strength of youth.
So what the angel is telling Esdras is that those that were born in the strength of youth from the beginning are of a greater stature than those that are born during Esdras' time, just as those that are born after Esdras are of less in stature. So each generation gets smaller in stature, weaker in strength. That's what these 4 verses are discussing. So people born from the time of Adam and Eve were much stronger than those that are born now in 2021. We might think a man being 6'5" is tall. No, 6'5" is nothing for back then. Back then, men were larger and stronger. Okay, so now go with your next question. Go with your next question.
The next question is, if it was a multitude of people created, why does Genesis chapter 2, verse 7 to 8 read singular, man, the man, but God said, create this abundantly, that abundantly.
Okay, let's get into that. So now you want to talk about creation, right? Right?
Yeah, I'm asking a question.
Okay.
From the Bible.
Okay, let's go to Genesis chapter 1. And I want let's start at verse 26.
Yes, sir. The book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
So I want to pause there. So male and female created he them. So the first one, like as you said, was singular. The question often is, how is the process of creation when it came to mankind? How did it go about? Now, you may have heard some of my previous videos where I discuss Adam being the alpha male and there being other men that came behind Adam. Now, the question is, what was the process like? That's why I referenced 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 55, 51 down, where it says, those that were born in the strength of youth are of another fashion than those that are born in the strength of age, in the time of age, excuse me. So now watch this. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 21.
The book of 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 6 and verse 21. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The woman with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up.
So right there, that gives us a glimpse into the kingdom, which is paradise, as well as from the very beginning. Okay, what we got to understand is 2 things. There's 2 things you got to understand. The Bible gives a list of Adam's descendants after he got kicked out of the garden. Prior to him being in the garden, all it says is be fruitful and multiply. It doesn't name nobody until they get kicked out of the garden. Read that verse again.
Verse
This
21.
is in the garden.
And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up.
So again, that's talking about the coming kingdom as well as ancient paradise. That's how children were born in the beginning. Okay, it was not like the way you and I think now. The woman has to wait for 9 months, and then they have to be weaned for 3 years, and then grow up from a toddler, from a baby, infant, toddler, juvenile, then adult. That's not how it was in the beginning, just like it's not going to be like that in the kingdom. The way that they're going to be born in the kingdom is the same way they were born in paradise while they were in the garden. Read the verse again for the third time.
Verse 21, and the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up.
Why? Because everyone's going to go back to the original strength where children can be born at 3 or 4 months and be able to speak, okay, with their voices. That's the mystery of Genesis chapter 1, okay? So when we go to Genesis chapter 1, let's go to Genesis chapter 4 now. And verse 1 and 2, this is when they get kicked out of the garden. Adam and Eve are now kicked out. We don't know exactly what happened while they were in the garden, but now it gives a detailed history of what happened when they got kicked out of the garden. Genesis 4, verse 1 and 2.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground.
Now, let's jump down to verse 14 of the same chapter. Verse 14 now.
Verse 14, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
Now the question often is, well, who is Cain talking about? Who is he talking about? Everyone that finds me shall kill me. Because so far, Adam and Eve just now had Cain, then Abel. Abel just got killed. So guess what? The only child is Cain, right? Oh no, wrong. Remember, the Bible gives a listing of birth after the garden. I hope I'm speaking good English. After the garden. In the garden, it does not give a list. So in Genesis 4:14, when he says, everyone that finds me shall slay me, who is he making reference to? Those that were born in the garden, which is not listed. Jump down to verse 17.
Verse 17, and Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch.
So now he mentions he got married. Married to who? Adam and Eve only had Cain after they got kicked out of the garden.
Yeah.
Before the garden, it does not give a list of children. Okay? So that's what it's making reference to. Now, look at Genesis.
Bishop,
Yes.
Please explain it again for us. Slow, please.
Okay.
There were people who were in the garden and not listening, and not listed.
Right. In the garden, when God created Adam and Eve, it doesn't, he tells them, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth. That was in the garden, but it doesn't give you a listing of children at all. Okay. Now remember how children were born in paradise. That's why I referenced 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 21. If we can read it again, please.
The book of 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 6 and verse 21. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices, and women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up.
That's how it was in the beginning, and that's how it's going to be in the coming kingdom. In the coming kingdom, the children are going to be brought up quick, just like it was in the beginning of creation.
3 months baby speaking.
Yes, it's not going to be like now. That's why it seems hard for us to grasp. Go to chapter 5 again. Second Ezra chapter 5.
Second Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 5 and verse 52. Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? And she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age when the womb faileth are otherwise. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you. And so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old and have passed over the strength of youth.
So the angel is telling Esdras, those that were born in the beginning are of greater stature. Those that are born now are of less stature, meaning smaller and weaker. We are now smaller and weaker. It takes us much longer to grow to adulthood, when in the past, in the very beginning, it took a shorter time for us to grow into adulthood, okay? And we were not 6 feet, we were much larger than we are now. That's why now we get shocked when we see a man, like a basketball player, 7 foot tall, some people 8 foot. That was nothing for back then. Let me show you this. Give me Ezekiel chapter 31. Go to Ezekiel 31. God is talking a metaphor regarding the Assyrian, but he's talking metaphorically about Adam. Watch this.
And what
Ezekiel
verse?
31, start at verse 7.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 31 and verse 7. Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. The fair trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him.
You see that? You see the part that says all the trees in the garden of God envied Adam, envied him? Think about it. Do trees envy? No. To envy is a form of jealousy and hate. Envy is a form of jealousy and hate. Trees, literal trees, do not have those emotions. So it is a similitude, an allegory, a metaphor for the people that were in the garden of paradise. That's what it's talking about. Now, regarding size, because I made mention that we grow smaller, start at verse 5 and let's read down again. I should have started at verse 5.
Ezekiel chapter 31 and verse 5. Therefore, his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long, because of the multitude of waters, when he shot forth.
So notice it says, his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, meaning this man was huge. Go ahead. He wasn't no little 7 feet tall, 8 feet, no. His height was above the trees, read.
Above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long, because of the multitude of waters, when he shot forth. All the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under his branches their young, and under his shadow dwelt all great nations.
So now, remember when it said about Adam, all the animals came to Adam and he named all of them. That's when it's saying, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelt all nations. Everyone was under Adam's dominion. Adam was Lord of the earth. I'm going to show you that in another chapter. Adam was the Lord of the earth. Keep reading. Hello?
Shalom, sir.
Keep reading.
Verse 7. Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty.
So notice it says, the cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. Remember, Adam tried to hide. Okay, when you read, where's that at? Somebody help me. Go back to Genesis chapter. Verse 7. Read that.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 7. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they shewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice.
Verse 9.
Verse 9. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself.
So when it said he hid himself, go back to Ezekiel 31, verse 8 again. Adam tried to hide himself. Watch this.
Chapter 31 and verse 8. The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty.
Adam could not hide amongst all those people, that those cedar trees, chestnut trees and branches. Nobody was like Adam. Nobody was like him. He could not be hid. Read.
Verse 9. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him.
So all the trees in the garden of God envied Adam, meaning they hated Adam. They despised him. They were envious of him. They were jealous of him. Why? Because Adam was made Lord of the earth. Now, let's get some more. Let's go to Genesis 3, verse 20, please.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 20. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living.
See that? Eve is the mother of all living. Do you understand? All people came out of her. Okay? You might think Eve was some regular old lady. No. She was on almost a level like Adam, that God level. Now watch this. Go to 2 Esdras 3, 5 through 8. 2 Esdras 3, 5 through 8. Esdras, the angel, reveals something else.
The book of 2 Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 3 and verse 5. And gave us a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. And thou leddest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted before ever the earth came forward.
So that's what I was talking about. It doesn't give a listing of people born in paradise. The only list is when they got kicked out of paradise. Read.
And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointest death in him and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments.
See that part? The people that came of Adam despised God's commandments. What does it mean they despise God's commandments? What does it infer? It infers that Adam was teaching them, and they despised him. They envied him. Now watch this. I'm going to show, when I said Adam was Lord of the earth, I meant that. Go to 2 Esdras 6 and verse 54 down.
The book of 2 Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 6 and verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen.
You see that? It says Adam was made Lord of all thy creatures. He was the top of all creation, Adam was. So many times we got the mindset that Adam was this feeble dude walking around, hi, birds and fishes. No, Adam was on a God level. And he was huge. He was not no 6 foot, 7 foot guy. It said his head was up to the height of the trees. Adam was huge. Eve was huge. Read.
Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
So you see verse 55, it says, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. The world was made for the chosen Israelites. That's what verse 54 says. After these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. And of the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake. Their name was not called Israel until after the flood. Before the flood, they were called the sons of God, like it says in Genesis 6. Okay, read on.
So Bishop,
Yes.
Bishop, is the people that came from Adam not referring to Noah?
No, not yet. Later on.
No,
What are you talking
not
about?
referring
This
to
verse
Noah.
here? You're talking about this verse right here we're reading?
I am asking. Yes, I'm asking that.
Well, yeah, Adam or Noah will come into all of this. That's what it says, of him come we all. Yes, Noah would come into all of that, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
You go on, because I have a lot of questions for you today.
okay, read.
Verse 56. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
So the abundance of them, all of them together are like a drop that falls from a vessel. A drop that falls from a vessel, nobody cares about. So God is saying all the other nations are nothing. Now, remember we read in verse 54, it said, Adam also whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures. Watch what it says in Luke chapter 3. Go to Luke. The book of Luke, is it chapter 3 or chapter 4? Luke chapter 3, verse 38.
The book of Luke, chapter 3 and verse 38. Which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of God.
You see that? Adam was the son of God. See, that's why I said people keep thinking Adam was this little old raggedy dude walking around the garden. Adam was the son of God, and he was on a God-like level. He was not in no weak little flesh like we got now, okay? And for Eve to even deal with him, she had to be on that God level, but she also was envious of him. Like it says, hey, where's that script? Wisdom of Solomon 2:24. Look at this. This goes with Eve. Although she was on that level, or not exactly, but she was near there, she wasn't satisfied with that. She wanted greater. Watch this.
Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, chapter 2 and verse 24. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world.
And through envy of the devil. Was that the whole verse?
And they that do hold of his side do find it.
So through envy of the devil came death into the world. So who was Eve envying? Through envy of the devil. The devil was tempting Eve and she fell for that foolishness. Okay? That spirit of envy was always going on back then. That's what we read in Ezekiel 31, verse 5 through 9. All the trees in the garden of God envied Adam. And there's another precept, hey, who knows where it is, where Christ was healing a man with mud on his eyes. And he said, tell me what you see. And he said, I see men as trees. Something like that. Watch this. Hold on. Hold on a second. Mark 8, verse 23 and 24.
The book of Mark, chapter 8 and verse 23. And he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands upon him. He asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking.
I see men as trees walking. That's why in Ezekiel 31, it talked about the trees in the garden of God envied Adam. It's talking about men. It's a metaphor, a similitude. Go ahead, Hilkiah, what are your questions?
Yeah, you talked about Enoch. You talk about Enoch.
You're talking about in Luke?
Yeah, you said, yeah, in your speech, you said Enoch. I've forgotten.
And Genesis it talks about, yeah.
Yeah, about Enoch. Some people say there was somebody called Lilith.
Called what?
Lilith.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Have you heard about her, Lilith?
It's not in the Bible.
It is not the Bible, but it is in the other books, right?
It's not in the Bible that the scholars put together.
Because some people say there was a Lilith before Eve.
Well, as again,
there was a Lilith before Eve.
Again, that ain't in the Bible.
It's not in the Bible, right?
No. Here it is. Here it is. People often ask, why do we use the King James Version Bible? Hey, does anybody have the Bible dictionary? Hello?
Coming right up, Bishop.
All right, I want Bible, KJV, look it up in the Bible dictionary where it says he got 47 scholars. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Coming right up. We'll take it.
That's what I want on the screen. I'm gonna show y'all something. This is for my Lilith people out there.
I asked that because me myself, I read something about it, that Lilith was the first wife of Adam before Eve.
I'll tell you, no, that's not right. I'm gonna prove that ain't right too.
Today we will talk. I have a lot of questions for you.
That's good. I'm gonna show you that's wrong too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did y'all get that right yet? Did y'all find it? Because if not, I'm gonna go to Matthew 19 so y'all get yourself together. Hey, who's reading for me?
And Bishop, before it comes, is the company in the garden the snake or the serpent?
Is the what in the garden?
The company.
The company.
In the Garden of Eden.
That was one of them.
What was it? A snake or a serpent?
Snake and a serpent is the same thing. That was a spirit that came to Eve.
Okay, so it actually it wasn't the snake that we are seeing.
No, it's a metaphor. I'm gonna show you that too.
Okay.
All right, I'll show you that in a minute. Hey, give me. You found it? Okay, can you read that?
Yes, sir. Zondervan Bible Dictionary, King James Version, second paragraph. 47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars of the day were divided into 6 groups, 3 for the Old Testament, 2 for the New, and 1 for the Apocrypha. 2 of the groups met at Oxford, 2 at Cambridge, and 2 at Westminster. When a group have completed its task, its work was submitted to 12 men, 2 from each panel. Final differences of opinion were settled at a general meeting of each company. In cases of special difficulty, learned men outside the board of revisers were consulted. Marginal notes were used only to explain Hebrew and Greek words to draw attention to parallel passages. Italics were used for words not found in the original but necessary to complete the sense.
Okay, so what I want all of you listeners to understand, King James himself did not write the Bible. 47 of the top Hebrew and Greek scholars, is that what it said? 47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars of the day were divided into 6 groups. Now, these 47 of the top Hebrew and Greek scholars came together and looked at all the records. They were the ones that chose the books that were within. They were the ones that chose those writings to leave out. The ones they left out obviously contradicted what they came together with. So now, I'm going to those of you who goes to the book of Jasher, those of you that go to the book of Enoch, those of you that go to the book of Mary, those of you that go to the book of Thomas. If 47 of the top Hebrew and Greek scholars left it out, why do you Negroes who have very little education jump up with these books? Like, yeah, this is part of it. You're not scholars. You barely speak English, okay? And this is what amazes me with Black people. That's why we're called Black in our mind, because you speak a ghetto form of English, yet you're so all-knowing. And talk about, here we go, Lilith and Eve. I'm going to prove that's a lie right now. They say Lilith was Adam's first wife, then something he got rid of her and got Eve. Let's see. Matthew 19, please. I'm tired of black stupidity. Matthew 19, let's start at verse 3.
The book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife.
And jump down to verse 7. I want to just get to the point. Verse 7.
Verse 7. They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away?
So the subject is divorce. The subject is divorce. Read.
He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffer you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so.
In the beginning, there was no divorce, no divorce, no divorce. So during the time of Adam and Eve, guess what? There was no divorce. Now, let's say somebody jumps up and says, well, Adam didn't divorce Lilith. She died. There was no death in the beginning until Adam and Eve sinned. Okay? This is how foolish some of you are, running around grabbing book after book. And half of you are adulterers, the other half of you are liars. You still struggle with the basic commandments, but you know so much. Yes, Lilith was his first wife. Then he got an attitude and divorced her. There was no divorce in the beginning, sister. Oh, okay. Well, then Lilith died. There was no death in the beginning until Adam and Eve sinned. Oh, simple one. The hell is wrong with y'all? Who raised you?
Adam and Eve.
Oh, yeah, I know I just mess with y'all.
Adam and Eve.
My people, but y'all pain in the neck.
Adam and Eve had company in the garden.
Yes.
Was everyone created aside of Adam made of the dust of the ground as well?
No, just Adam. Just Adam. Then Eve came from him, and then everyone came from them. Okay.
Then what happened?
Then they got, after that, when the people started to come out, growing up, Adam and Eve then, that's when they sinned. And then God said, you're out of here, get out of paradise. They had to leave paradise. Then what happened? Eve had Cain. She said, I got a man-child from the Lord. I name him Cain. Then she had Abel. Then Cain killed Abel. Now let's go back to that. There's a part that I didn't highlight that I want to highlight for you. Go back to Genesis 4 and let's look at verse 17 again.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 17. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch, and he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch.
So he built a city. Cain built a city. This is what Black people don't understand. And you know why? Because we are Black. To be Black means to be black and slow. Like Jesse Lee Peterson says, you're black and slow. To build a city is not to build an apartment, Negro. To build a city is not to build a building, Negro. To build a city means an infrastructure, okay? Cain built an infrastructure to home, house, and take care of multitudes of people. Where did these people come from? Because it was only Cain and Enoch. Why
I
did
was,
he
ab-
even
I
build a
was
city?
about to ask you that.
Yes,
was
because
about
that's
to
what I
ask you
read
that.
earlier. There were other people in the garden that envied him. He built it for them. That's what happened.
So,
There you go. Now you got your answer.
so does it mean the first human being on this earth is not Adam and Eve?
The first human was Adam. Then Eve came from him, I'm sorry.
And then they give birth to two people, right?
Yes. Remember it said,
And
of
one
him
killed
come we
the
all.
other.
Huh?
And one killed the other. Cain killed Abel.
Yes.
And Cain, got married. To who?
Am I talking to this brick wall of, I'm like, maybe.
We are listening. Tell us the truth.
It's like,
Tell us the truth. That is what. Tell us the truth, because no. I am a bit confused.
You're not confused. You know exactly what it is. Listen,
Uh-huh.
Adam and Eve, when Adam was created, okay, what came next was Eve, right? Correct? You with me? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Remember, Genesis 3:20. Read it again for Hilkiah.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 20. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living.
So everybody came out of Eve. Everybody came out of Eve. And guess what? I want to say this right now, because I saw a sister said that she's in the image of God. Women are not in the image of God. Give me that in 1 Corinthians 11. Women are not in the image of God. I'm going to say it again. Women are not in the image of God. 1 Corinthians chapter 11.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 12. For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman, but all things of God.
No, I want verse 7.
Verse 7. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, forasmuch as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man.
You see that? Man is the image and glory of God. Woman is the glory of man. She came from man. She did not come from the earth. She was not created from the dust of the ground like Adam was. Eve came from man. The word woman, sister, in case you want to know, what does it mean? Go back to Genesis chapter 2 and verse 23.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man.
So what does woman mean? Of man. Woman means of man or from man. So when you say you are a woman, you are saying you are from man. Okay? So now, the people in the garden, back to that for Hilkiah. Okay? So, again, the Bible gives a listing of children born to Adam and Eve after they got kicked out of paradise, out of the garden. It does not tell anything that occurred inside the garden except Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 5 through 9 gives us a glimpse into the garden. Do we need to read it again? Let's read it again for Hilkiah. Ezekiel 31, 5 through 9. Let's read it slow. It's a metaphor.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 31 and verse 5. Therefore, his height was exalted above all the trees of the field.
So Adam was huge. Adam was not a little man. His stature was beyond what we think. Go ahead.
And his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters.
When it talks about Adam's branches, it's talking about the people that came from Adam and Eve. That's what it's going into. His branches. Go ahead.
When he,
Like Christ said, for example, I am the root, you are the branches. It's the same concept. They were branches that came from Adam. Go ahead.
when he shot forth, all the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelt all great nations.
So now all the fowls and the animals, remember it said in Genesis, Adam named everything. So now it went from branches to nations, it's saying. Go ahead.
Verse 7, thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him.
Remember, God said, where are you? Adam said, I knew I sinned and I tried to hide. It said, therefore, Adam tried to hide himself. Go ahead.
The fair trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty.
So there was no tree, meaning no man that was in the garden that was like Adam. Adam was beautiful in his power, in his greatness, in his glory. Read.
I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him.
So all the trees, all the people in the garden of God in Eden envied, were jealous of Adam. That's what Ezekiel's giving us a glimpse into what happened in the beginning. Just a glimpse.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now it's clear. So Cain was the firstborn outside of the garden, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Was everybody kicked? Was everybody
Yeah, he
kicked?
got it. I think he got it now. Go ahead.
Yeah, now I get it. So was everybody kicked out of the garden together with Adam?
Yeah, when you go back to Genesis 3, I went to cherubims. When he kicked out, everybody went. Genesis 3, it got blocked off. Where's that about to? Genesis 3, verse 22 down.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 22. And the Lord God said, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore, the Lord God sent him forth from the garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
So now there was access that obviously in the garden, there was access to the realm of the Most High and the angels, which the Lord had blocked off from Adam. So the Garden of Eden was more than we think or even anticipate of how it was back then. The ground was cursed. Everything got cursed when Adam sinned. So that Adam had to till the ground again. Not again, but he had to till the ground. Before, Adam didn't have to do nothing. The power was so much that everything took care of itself. Adam's job was to teach all the people. But when he failed, he got kicked out of the garden. Everything got corrupted. And from the sky, the sun, the moon, the earth, everything got corrupted. Everything.
Everything.
Yes, everybody got kicked out too.
Yeah.
No one had access to that except Adam anyway at that time. When I say access, I mean access to the realm of God to take part of the tree of life. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, before I ask you my next question, let me read some of the messages from the Facebook. Michael Israel says, why people should stick with the Bible. Genesis is deep enough as it is.
Yeah. You see how confused you are over this little topic. Now you want to go to a book called Enoch that the scholars said, no, that ain't canon.
Bishop, that is the reason why you get to tell us the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All praises. You got it. Thumbs up. Like and share, like and share.
Okay. Bishop says like and share. Now we have TV too. Jen Don Low, how do they come with this? That's what he's saying. And I have Maccabee, but Israel, who raised he is asking who raised this.
That's from TK Kirk.
Bishop, what kind of fruit do they eat?
Okay. All right.
Because they have been telling us apple. We have so many kinds of apple.
Okay.
What kind of apple is that?
Woo! Here we go.
Yeah.
Again, like the brother said, Genesis is not an easy book. It's filled with metaphors. Now, Genesis chapter 1. Let's go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 29 to 31.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
So in the beginning, everyone, Adam included, Adam and all the birds, all the mammals, all the creatures, everything ate herbs, everything. There was no meat eaters at this time. Now here's where the confusion comes in. When you go to Genesis 3 and verse 6, read that.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
Now, this right here is a metaphor. This right here, Christians say Eve took an apple. No, because Genesis 1, 29 to 31 tells you we can eat all of that. So what is this that she was not to take part in? For that, you got to go to your Apocrypha to find out what is this that she ate of. Go to Wisdom of Solomon. Y'all know where I'm going? Chapter 14, is it? Wisdom of Solomon 14, verse 12.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, chapter 14 and verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life.
Jump to verse 27 down.
Verse 27. For the worshipping of idols, not to be named, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
So it's telling you that the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. It also saying that worshiping of idols not to be named was the beginning of all evil. So it's telling you, so now when we go back to Genesis 3 now, and verse 6.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
So now what form of idolatry? This is idolatry, but what form? It could be various forms. Let me give you an example. Because we just read that idolatry was the beginning of all evil. The beginning is the word. Genesis means what? Beginning. So now, what form of idolatry is this? Look at Deuteronomy, I believe it's 4:15, if I'm not mistaken.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4.
Is that what I want? I might be wrong. Is that
I'll start from 16. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 16. lest ye corrupt yourselves, and make you graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven.
So looking up to worship the stars, the sun, and the moon is also idolatry. So remember what Eve said in Genesis 3, verse 6. Read it again.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes.
Stop.
And
this tree was pleasant to look at. So this is not talking about an apple tree. This is something else that you look at. It said it was beautiful to look at, and it could do what?
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise.
This tree could make you wise. That's not an apple tree. There's nothing in an apple tree that can make you wise. This is talking about something else. Now, when you look up at the heavens, there is language in the heavens that we don't understand. That's why the Greeks call it, this is the constellation of Orion. That's the constellation of such and such. That over there is this. You get direction, you get understanding of the heavens. That's what many people to this day are still trying to understand, the language of the heavens, the correlation or connection of stars. Okay, that might be too deep. It's too deep for me too, but I understand where this is going. That's a form of idolatry. God says not to learn that stuff. Eve said, if I learn this, I can be wise. Okay, so that's what was going on here in Genesis 3, verse 6. Okay.
Bishop.
Yes.
If there, I know what I'm about to say will be, it will sound a little bit controversial to you, but anyway, I will say it to you. I'll ask you, if the earth was repopulated.
Say it again.
The world was repopulated, right?
Oh, repopulated. Good.
Yeah, through somebody. And I'm asking, if the world or the earth was repopulated with 6 people, Noah and his wife doesn't count. Why does it sound crazy for everything to have started with 2 people?
It sounds crazy with 2 people because it seems virtually impossible. You know why? We compare everything with how we are today. That's why it seems crazy. Okay? We compare everything with how we are today. I'll give you an example. With marriage. When you read the Bible, there's a custom of marriage where the husband goes to the woman's father.
The wife.
Parents. And they work out an arrangement. I believe they're still doing it in some countries in Africa.
In Africa, we are still doing it in Africa.
Right. Guess what? In America, that sounds crazy. Black women here, not all of them, but 99.9% of them feel that that's crazy. They go out, have sex and babies. They don't need no man. They are single mothers. That's a normal life to them. And those of us that know better say, that's crazy. But the Black woman today goes, no, going to the parents, that's crazy, because our mind has been totally perverted from what the word of God says. That's why things sound crazy.
Gian Donlow says, I wonder if Eve was tricked instantly or over a period of time. He's asking you a question.
Yeah. Hey, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
Okay. And my first thought, just because what we're reading is abbreviated. It's abbreviated. Okay. My first thought is she got tricked there. But now, that leads me to your question earlier about the serpent. You said, was it a serpent or a snake? Those are the two same things.
Yes.
I'm going to show you who the serpent was. Go to 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians, chapter 11. I know I said Corinthians. And we're going to read 3, 4, and then we're going to jump. Okay?
Yes, sir. The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ.
Now stop right there. For I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety. The question is, who is the serpent? Jump over to verse 14.
Verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. When the serpent came to Eve, he came in the form as, when it says angel, it's like a messenger of righteousness, like a man with great wisdom. But it was Satan. That's who it was. This spiritual demon, Satan, came in the form of a man, but this man looked wonderful and had, in the way he spoke, intrigued Eve to teach her she can be a god on earth, as great as Adam, if not greater. And she listened. How long? I don't know how long the conversation went. I don't know if it was over a matter of time. I don't know. If I don't know, I'm gonna tell you I don't know. I don't know. Okay. But at the end of it, she did get deceived. And she began to worship idolatry and then taught Adam that thing. Okay. That's all. That's what I can say.
An unknown person brought this question, saying, if that is the case, then God should have known what was going to happen.
Oh, he did know. Yes. Yes. Let's get that in Romans 8. Don't think God didn't know. But this was a divine plan.
And he allowed it to happen.
That's right. Yes, I'm going to show you that. I'm going to go to the New Testament, then I'm going to go back to the Apocrypha. Please bear with me. Romans 8 and verse 20.
The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him whom have subjected the same in hope.
So the creature, which is man, was made subject to vanity, subject to sin, not willingly, meaning not of their own accord, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope. God wanted man to be subjected to hope. Read the next verse.
Verse 21. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God.
So what does it mean when it's, or why is it saying a creature was made subject to vanity, subject to sin? Let's make it more easier for you to understand. Go to 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras, chapter 4, verse 30.
The book of 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 4 and verse 30. For the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness hath it brought up unto this time, and how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come.
So you see that? For the grain of evil seed has been sown. I wish I get another easier reading translation. This looks like damn scribble. For the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. That's what Romans 8 and 20 is saying. Read Romans 8 and 20 again.
Romans chapter 8 and verse 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity.
The creature was made subject to sin. The creature was made subject to evil. Go ahead.
Not willingly, but by reason of him who have subjected the same in hope.
So God had a plan. His plan was to create Adam. He put that evil seed in Adam's heart to do what? To listen to his wife, okay? He put in Eve to listen to the serpent, which was an angel of light, man. Then that evil seed came throughout all of us. Everybody that's born got that evil, corrupt seed in them. It was God's plan from the beginning. Nothing's by accident. Nothing is by accident. There is no accidents with God. Yes.
There's no accident.
Right. If you get hit by a car, that wasn't an accident either. There's no accident. You slam your finger in a door. Oh, shoot. That's not by accident. You better repent.
No problem. Bishop, there's no problem.
Exactly.
There's no problem. Let me ask you this. Where did Seth and Cain's wife come from?
Where did Seth and Cain's wife come from? Okay. He's asking that question again. I'm going to give the answer again, okay? Yeah, all right. So, there were people born to Adam and Eve before they got kicked out of the garden. This must be my 7th time saying that, but the Bible does not give a list of those people. It does not list them.
So the first woman being on earth, you got to be confused.
No, you're not confused.
You said there were people.
Was born. Adam was who? The son of God, right? Luke 3:38, right? Adam was the son of God, right? No, you don't get it again. Get Luke 3, the last verse, because he's lost already. Luke 3, the last verse.
The book of Luke, chapter 3 and verse 38. Which was the son of Enos? Which was the son of Seth? Which was the son of Adam? Which was the son of God?
Adam was the son of God. From Adam, the son of God, came Eve. While they were in the garden, in paradise, it does not tell you what happened inside paradise, except in Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 5 through 9. It tells you Adam was of great stature. It said the people that came of Adam,
some of the
not like him,
are being thrown to me through those who are listening.
Okay.
That is why I keep on asking you.
Okay.
Because the person who brought it in just tuned into Emilia Radio.
Yes.
And then
I understand, guy. I know. I'm just messing.
And I am not in the right position to answer him.
Okay. So yes,
we are here to tell us the truth.
Right. So when we go back, and the way that you know there were more people born to Adam and Eve, let's say you don't understand Ezekiel, you don't understand what Ezra said, you don't understand nothing. So let's go to back to Genesis 4, verse 14 and 17, please.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And
so everyone that findeth me shall slay me. He said, I will be a fugitive in running from justice. To be a fugitive means someone is hunting you. People are after you. Then it says, everyone that finds me will kill me. Who? These are people born before they got kicked out of the garden. Now verse 21, please. Verse 17.
Verse 17. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch.
So there's two things in that verse. Cain got a wife. From where? There were people born in the garden before they got kicked out. Then it says he built a city. A city is an infrastructure meant for hundreds or thousands or millions. A city is not meant for 1 or 2 people. So who is this city for? The people that were born in the garden, in paradise, in that time.
Bishop, do you know something? Bishop, do you know something? This question has been coming on and over and over and over because me and majority of my listeners, we've never had this deep explanation in our lives.
I didn't want to give it to you, but y'all forced me. I'd rather wait until y'all learn the commandments, then we could go into this.
Because our pastors, our reverend prophet will just come and read it just like that to us with no explanation, just like that to us. That is why this question has been repeatedly coming over and over and over, because we need, you said something and you are answering it with the Bible itself, which we never even know. But they have been preaching to us every day concerning this issue. How did it happen? And pastor will tell you, nobody, only, because they don't understand it. That is why this question has been repeatedly
coming on and on. Too.
Yeah.
Tell him Christ is black.
Because we are black. Because we are black and you are.
Yes.
Always. So you are not black.
Okay, we are brown. Tell them Jesus is brown.
Okay, let me go to some of the messages. Johanna, okay, let me check it. Okay, Johanna Chokma. But Israel says, his chosen are those who choose him willing. And Mariposa, Firefly, but why would God create an evil seed from the beginning if he wants a perfect race of people?
Okay, that's a good question. Let's go back to Romans 8. Let's go right back to Romans chapter 8. And we were in verse 20, I believe, and we'll just read from there again.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You finish.
The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who have subject the same in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God.
So the children that's going to be delivered are the Israelites into the glorious liberty of the children of God. And we're going to set the earth back in order, the way it's supposed to be. When sin will be rooted out of the earth. That was God's plan. Christ was prophesied to come from the time of Genesis. Genesis, I believe it's, give me the verse, Genesis 3, where it said, I will put enmity between thee and thy seed. Give me that one. Christ had been prophesied way back then.
Bishop, right now you are talking about Genesis.
Yes.
Let me keep in with this. Michael Israel says, I have done the Genesis lesson 30 times and still couldn't explain it to someone.
It is difficult. Genesis is not easy. Look at Genesis 3:15.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
So that was prophetic of Christ coming from the very beginning. With Jacob and Esau, when Jacob took hold of Esau's heel, Christ was, who was our head, was killed. He resurrected. He's coming back to slay the wicked. That was always God's plan from the time of Genesis. That was his program. We can't change it. Ezra questioned God about that. He asked the angel, why doesn't God do everything at once? Can we find, I'm gonna show you. The same questions many of you have the forefather Esdras asked the same thing. Genesis chapter. Second, I'm sorry. Second Esdras chapter 5. Find me the one that said, why don't you do everything at once? Find me that, somebody. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Everybody's lost.
So
He asked the angel, why don't you do it all at once?
Then let me take this message. Sharina Kimara says this topic is too heavy for the minds that still have layers of Christianity to digest.
Yes.
You have to decluster their minds first of all the lies of Christianity. This is coming from Sharina.
Okay.
Verse 43, Bishop. The book of 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 5 and verse 43. So I answered and said, couldst thou not make those that have been made and be now and that are for to come at once, that thou mightest shew thy judgment the sooner?
Right.
Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein.
Right. So the whole point was, he was asking the angel, why doesn't the Lord do everything at once? But when you read this chapter in its entirety, the angel saying everything has to be done spaced in time. Okay. Now there's another one I wanted. It's 2nd Esdras. Bear with me. I'm still looking for it. 2nd Esdras 4. Y'all bear with me. Start at 4:30.
The book of 2nd Esdras in Apocrypha, chapter 4 and verse 30. For the grain of evil seed have been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness have it brought up unto this time, and how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come? Ponder
Go
now.
over to chapter 3. 2nd Esdras 3, this is what I was looking for. 3:21 down.
2nd Esdras chapter 3 and verse 21. For the first Adam, bearing a wicked heart, transgressed, and was overcome. And so be all they that are born of him. Thus, infirmity was made permanent, and the law also in the heart of the people, with the malignity of the root. Malignity of the root, thank you. So that the good departed away, and the evil abode still.
So the Lord, that was his plan from the beginning. So again, there was nothing ever done by accident. It was done purposely, okay, through the power of Almighty God to usher in who? His son Christ, to usher in Christ, the new beginning where his chosen seed will reign on the earth. That was his plan. And it has taken, it seems like a long time to us, but with the Lord, remember it said in 2 Peter 3:8, one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. To the Lord, this is a short time. But to us, it seems like forever, forever, ever, forever. That's what it seems like. Okay.
Forever, ever. Okay, Bishop, yes. We got 5 more minutes to end the show. In summary.
You want me to sum it up?
In summary.
In summary, there were people born to Adam and Eve in the garden. They are not listed. The record of their children begins after they got kicked out of paradise. That's where Cain was born. Abel was born. Cain killed Abel. Cain says, I'm going to be a fugitive. I'm on the run from justice. Whoever finds me will kill me. Who was he talking about? The people that were born on the other side before they got kicked out of paradise. Then Cain says, it says Cain got a wife. From where? from the people that were born in paradise that were not listed. Then Cain says, I'm going to build a city. A city for who? It's only you, your wife, and your son Enoch, because they left Adam and Eve. So what happened then? Who was it for? The people that had already been born, which are not listed in the Bible. Those were the sons of men. There were three groups of people: sons of God, sons of the wicked, sons of man. Three groups. Cain became the father of the sons of the wicked, okay? Seth became the father of the sons of God, like when you read in Genesis 6. The sons of men were on the other side. Those were all the multitudes of people which were not listed. I hope everybody, I know it's deep. I know it's hard to bethink it, but
Yeah,
just shoot a cut on it. Shoot a cut.
yeah. This is very deep.
Yes.
That is why I called you my able Bishop Nathanyel.
That's why I like to deal with the milk. I like easy topics for the listeners. Listeners who don't understand adultery, who don't understand not to lie, they don't understand that. But they want to know about Cain and Abel.
Bishop, Mariposa Firefly says, no, it can't end yet. He says, no, it can't end yet. Because people are interested about this topic. And I believe me as a host and my listeners, I have been blessed because this is a deep teaching. I've been blessed today, seriously. Bishop, do you want to suggest the next topic? As we said, this is a hard topic.
Okay, we'll stay along the same lines. Let's deal with Cain and Abel on the next lesson and how they relate to us today. I like that topic.
Cain and Abel. How, okay, come again, I'm writing it.
How they relate to us today.
How they relate us today. Technicians and producers, I believe you heard Bishop. He said he suggests with the Cain and Abel, how they relate to us today. And Bishop, we didn't know what I'm about to say concerning next topic, but you've suggested this one, so no problem. Because my next topic for next week is Edom.
What?
Edom.
Oh, I like that topic too. We can do that.
Edom, a wicked and divided kingdom.
Okay, we can do that. We can do that.
So with this, which one do you prefer? Edom,
like
a wicked
kingdom.
and divided kingdom.
Yes, I like the divided kingdom one better. We can do Cain and Abel after that.
Okay. Then next week, good listeners and viewers, next week topic is Edom, a wicked and divided kingdom. That will be the topic for next week. And before I leave Bishop to go, let me announce to you, if you want to learn more, you can visit Israel United in Christ at www.israelunite.org. If you are in Germany, call us on 01707116241, 01707116241, or 01577449191. You can look on your screen. All the information are there. email us at iuic.germany@israelunite.org. Subscribe to our YouTube site for more videos, youtube.com/IUIC Germany. Also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/IUIC Germany. Also, you can also follow us on Instagram. And now we have IUIC TV. IUIC TV. You have to download IUIC TV. Download watch on Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, and Roku. Download watch on Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, and Roku. Yeah. So next week, yeah, Android and iOS 2, yeah, you can download it. Next week, Edom, a wicked and divided kingdom. On this note, I say a big thank you to my able Bishop Nathanyel of Israel United in Christ. Thank you so very much. All praise, peace, shalom.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.